Welcome to the second video. What I'd like to emphasize here is this relationship of a string, so that's anything that appears between speech marks, is made of individual characters, including spaces and other types of characters. When you take a string, which we had in our example, if you can see up here in Python environment, we had hello world, which is the standard string most of us use when we're introducing it. The string itself is made up of these individual characters. Each character, starting from 0, has an index. Now, I might be repeating that from the previous video, but it has some really, really important consequences. So we're going to try a couple of experiments with this. And the only way of teaching you this stuff is really for you to see it in action, and for us to play with it in some kind of way. Okay, so first of all, let's see how we can select a part of this string. Okay, let's take that away and let's come over here. Let's comment out this code here, this looping code. In fact, let's just get it out of the way entirely. So we're back to here. Now look what I can do. I can print an individual, I can select an individual character. If I put 7 in there and run it, run file as script, let's update all the connections. What letter should I expect from here based on this? 7 should give me an O. Okay, so, and it is an O. It is actually that O there. Okay, now let's see if we can grab a little section. How do we go about grabbing, say, ORLD based on these numbers? Well, it's quite clever. In this bracket here, I use an individual number. So let's just write it out so you can see this clearly. I'm going to fold that back because that's what we're focusing on, this particular string here. So let's just shift that up a bit. Okay, so I want to grab the word world. It starts at 6 and ends at 10. So if I want to grab it, if I grab an individual character, I just put a single number in. But what happens if I do this? Put number 6 here and 10 here, and between them put a colon. Okay, so there is my string name. There's my square bracket, and instead of a single number, I've put a pair of numbers and a colon in between. Now, rather than answer that question for you theoretically, let's have a look at what happens with the code. Let's go back to the environments, get rid of the 7, 6, colon, 10. And I'm going to print that, whatever that gives me. So let's run that file as a script. Okay, what do we think is going to come out? Let's have a look. Oh, WORL. That's interesting. 6 and 10 gives me WORL. Let's have a look at what we thought was going to come out and why there's a difference. So it's WORL. Is it different? Is it what we expected? 6 is W, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hang on a second. There is some difference. I was hoping to include the word D. Have I included the word W? Let's have a look. Yes, I have. So the starting value seems absolutely fine. We're happy with that. But this 10 here seems to have lopped off the 10. It hasn't given me the 10. So here's an important thing to notice. Let's test it again. What happens if I want the WOR? Let's come over here. Let's say I want the HEL. Okay, the first 3 characters. So let's do 0, we think, and the first L should be 2. So we go from 0 across to 2. And see if we can spot what's going on. Let's run that. And what we think we're expecting seems to be slightly out askew with what we actually find. Right, let's run that. It only gives me 2 characters. All right, so you say to me, that's interesting. Why is it giving me 2 characters? 0, 1, 2. Why is it not giving me that? It's an interesting question. If we go back to our previous example, which I have here, This clearly is not the length of characters, the number of characters after that position. Otherwise it would fly off the edge. So that's not a length. That's clearly a start value, but this is some kind of end value. But for some reason, it goes up to 10, but doesn't include this value. Right? Have a look at this. So if it's 0, 1, 2, if I specify 2, it doesn't seem to include the 2. It goes up to 2, gives me those characters, but it doesn't include the 1 there. So this second number is a little trickier to get round to work. So let's go back to this and see if we can get world. If I want world, I would need to actually put the number 11 in. That's what I think based on what I've just said. So let's test that out. 6 to 11. Right, now is this going to blow up my code because there aren't 11 characters? So what does this, is this end value 11 going to fly off the end? Let's have a look. Right, so there we go. Oh, it didn't blow up. It actually gave me the 4 characters. So what's interesting is an observation about how this mechanism works. That clearly is the starting index. But that is not the stopping index. It's not included. It's always 1 below that. So to include it, you need to shift it up to 11. There is no 11th index, but it goes up to 11. It's like a less than 11. That's the meaning of that particular last one. Right up to 11, but not 11. So what's the number below 11? It's 10. So 6 to 10. That seems to me the basic logic here. What I would recommend you do, and this is quite crucial for this type of coding and be clearer, is to play with it. Create different strings and try to lift out of it different types of string. Okay, let's go back and see if we can lift out hello. According to what I've just said, it should be 0 start, and it shouldn't be 4 at the top end. It needs to be 5 because it's going to be less than, just under 5. Let's test that out. So in here we put in 0. I've lost my bracket. Give me a second. So we said it was 0, 0, colon, 5 because it's less than the that last number. Not inclusive of it, right? So that should give me hello. Let's have a look. Let's run it. And it gives me hello. Okay, so this is a very, very powerful mechanism. And it's very, very important to pay attention to this slightly peculiar feature. I mean, maybe you might say, like me, why can't that number simply be the index of the last character you want to include? Well, it seems it doesn't work like that. It seems to work that whatever number you put here, it goes right up to, but doesn't include that index value. Okay, so that is something that you need to play with and be confident with. So we will stop this second video and then encourage you, when you go through the exercises, to play with these combinations. Make sure that you grasp this concept and the concept is clear for you.